Oftentimes, the way to go fast is to go slow. Rest is critical to making sure we're at our best. If you notice, there was no episode last week. But before I get into that, hi, I'm Paul Faronbi, aka IncrediPaul, and welcome to 6 Minute Saturdays. It's a short form of the podcast where I dive deeper into specific leadership, business, and career topics. If you're aware of all the things I have going on, so some of you may be new. So if this is your first time watching, thank you so much for your support for what I do with IncrediPaul, empowering young professionals to become the most incredible versions of themselves. So thank you for watching. But if your first time, you may or may not know all the things I have going on. So for one, you see the IncrediPaul stuff. It's a for-profit. I have the IncrediPaul podcast. I do speaking and coaching. Along with that, I also have a pretty active newsletter that comes out every week, as well as I'm active on social media. In addition, I have a nonprofit. So I've talked about NALA before, National Alliance Leading Acceleration of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. So I lead a team of over 250 members, and I have an exec team of about 6 people as well. And we work to unite, support, and build community among all historically excluded peoples in STEM. So we do stuff on the mentorship side. We have a mentorship program. We do recruiting, we do speaking, workshops. So we travel around the nation. So travel has definitely picked up in the last year as things have come out of COVID and we're able to gather more. But we also do a lot of virtual stuff as well. So actually have a professional development session that I'm going to be leading coming up this coming Tuesday. If you're watching this on a Saturday, or if you're not watching it live, then maybe it's already passed. But Tuesday, April 9th, we have a session. We've been doing it every month the last 3 months. And so I'm going to be talking about leadership. There's a lot of stuff I do with my business side, on the knowledge STEM side, and then even on the full-time side. So yes, on top of the stuff with the for-profit and nonprofit, I work full-time as an engineer. So my background is in chemical engineer. I work as an R&D process engineer. It's new. So along with that, so I've been transitioned to a new role with Mars Incorporated. And then to put the cherry on top, I am married to the most beautiful woman in the world. Also manage to work out regularly. So all that context is to say that I have a lot of stuff that is going on and a lot of stuff that is vying for my attention. And what I realized, especially in the last couple of months, is I've transitioned to this new role and a new environment. So people who've known me for a while, been in St. Louis the last 5 years. I grew up there and then moved there for work. So now transitioning in Nashville, I realized how critical it is to rest and be intentional about your rest. So I mentioned all the stuff I've been doing. I've been traveling back and forth between St. Louis and Nashville, just things getting squared away with the house and with just relationships and all those things, along with also traveling for other stuff. Like I mentioned, the NALA STEM stuff. Like I had conferences worked in there, also traveling for work for the last couple of months. And what I realized is a lot of my routines and rest that I had in place before had slipped. I was not doing the things I knew I needed to do to be successful, to be at my best. So I will say that a lot of people did not realize that I was going through all these things. I was doing all these things. Some people ask, I say, one of my good friends, Lizette, who will be on the podcast coming up. So I've known her for a while. She asked me a question about how I was doing. It's like, you seem tired. And that was like a couple of weeks ago. And I thought I was great. I hadn't really thought about if I was tired. And I was like, I guess I am kind of tired. And so that was with kind of the transition stuff as we were trying to get people to rent out our place. So on top of that, on all those things I did mention, I'm also newly a landlord or landowner, whatever you want to call it. So managing that. And so what I realized, so I'm a person of faith, and one of my routines is really to have quiet time with God in the morning. And I try to work out, to do some sort of physical activity in the morning, whether it's some ab exercises or walking. I also lift, but I usually try and do that later in the day. I just feel like I don't have the energy for it in the beginning of the day. But I was constantly felt like I was behind, and there were times I was short with my wife, which is like not what I don't want to take things out on her. And so And it was on and off. Like some days were better than others. But I finally had an epiphany last week about how my routines and stuff had shifted, really being in flux. So really still in Nashville. This is temporary housing. And like fortunately I'll be in where I will be permanently in the next couple of weeks. So that'll definitely help. But really being more intentional with what my routines look like and having time to slow down and rest. So that was one of the things that last weekend was Easter, back in St. Louis, back at my home church, doing a lot of great things. Thought about putting out a 6 Minute Saturdays episode, but that was really around the time that I said, I need to stop. I need to relax. I need to rest. I need to just be. And I had put out 32 episodes in a row, 32 weeks in a row, going back to last July. And so to be intentional about saying, hey, I need to rest, I need to focus, I need to not do it this week, come back stronger next week. It did so many things for me. And so we're out of time because it's already over 6 minutes. But as you go through life, if you're a busy entrepreneur, busy business person, make sure you take the time to reflect often about how things are going. Because if you don't reflect, you don't have the time to improve on things. And we're all about improvement at IncrediPaul. And on 6 Minute Saturdays, I want to make sure that I'm going deeper, sharing more of the personal side, on the ongoing side of how you can truly be incredible. And if you're watching this live, have fun watching the clips. Make sure you use your glasses. Don't stare directly at it, but keep on this journey with me and keep being incredible.